Welcome to Backstage with Becca B with special guest Harrison Meloeny. Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Backstage with Becca B. On this episode, this California native has been in shows such as Spring Awakening, Next to Normal, Tick Tick Boom, I Love You Because, Dogfight, and has recently participated in multiple virtual theater productions with After Hours Theater Company. Please welcome Harrison Meloeny. Hi!
Oh, how are you?
Good! How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. It's so good to see your face. It's been so long. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. How are you doing?
I feel like it's been since like last summer.
I think it has been. Since last summer. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's insane.
I know. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I mean, considering like everything that's been going on in this crazy world, I'm home in Texas.
You're home in Texas?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you lived there. What part?
I'm in Dallas. I'm from Texas, so I don't like live in Texas, but I
know. Yeah. But Dallas is your hometown?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. That's fantastic.
I've been here for like 6 months. I thought I'd be back sooner, but hey.
Hey, I think you'll be back in like a few months if everything goes right,
That's what I'm thinking and hoping.
Yeah.
How have you been though?
I've been doing well. It's been a crazy year. Pandemic and all, even outside the pandemic, it's been a crazy year. But honestly, in terms of like theater and stuff, it's been a really exciting year. So I've had a really fun, innovative year that I wasn't expecting this year to be. So
right? Yeah, you've been doing a lot.
I honestly think I've done more productions this year than I've done in like possibly ever. Well, like since I was a kid, when you like did shows like 7 shows a year,
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, it's literally crazy. It happened to be that the company I work with was all aligned for the greatness of social distance theater. Yeah.
It's so clever, and I'm so happy that like they've been so successful in doing that. And I'm going to talk about that later.
Of course.
A lot. But first, have you always like known that you wanted to be in the entertainment industry and be a performer and be on stage?
No. I at a young age I was enrolled in church musicals. So basically like I went to this big non-denominational mega church, and there were like 200 kids, and they put on this original musicals written by Celeste Clydesdale. I think she got a Dove for them. They're really good. Yeah, we would do these musicals, and I was always in the ensemble. Like I didn't like doing it. I like fell asleep in like my first few shows and like ran off the stage because I didn't.
You fell asleep?
Yeah, well, I was like 4 years old, and they were like these 45-minute spectaculars that, I didn't really want to do, but I kind of was just dragged into it. And but eventually over time, I learned to start appreciating music, and I started to like doing them, but I still wasn't really like in theater. I was just, that was what I did at church, and I like did soccer and basketball, which I like wasn't great at either. Soccer a little bit better at. But then eventually I saw my sister do enough plays, and I was like, I think I can do that too. I think I could do that. So I decided to audition for one of the parts in those church musicals. It was called Splash Kingdom.
Oh, interesting.
And I ended up getting cast as the adult role. I was shocked. I didn't know that was an option. I thought I was gonna get. I got like the lead, which was supposed to be an adult, but they made it a kid instead. So I was like, oh, I guess I'm okay at this. So I did that, and then that summer was the first time I did a Broadway style musical. I signed up for class act musical theater and did a chorus line.
Oh, I feel like that's been someone else's first show too, that they actually did a chorus line.
I'm sure. It's kind of a weird show to do as a kid, but it's also a great show to do as a kid.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who've been like, I've done weird shows as a kid, like shows that are mainly adult roles as a kid. And it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's strange, but you know, it that was like my foundation. I think I did Grease 4 or 5 times with that company.
yes.
And I haven't done it professionally, but I did it as a kid like 5 times.
Would you want to do it professionally?
Yes and no. There's not necessarily like the perfect role for me. I would want to be Eugene probably,
Oh, okay.
or Sunny, or no, which is the one that sings Magic Changes.
Oh, I love that song, and I feel like you'd be so good.
That's yeah. Cause as a kid, I played Danny like 4 times, and I played. I know I never played Kaneki. I played Teen Angel.
Ooh.
And I also played Danny and Teen Angel. There was a combo year. It was both of them.
So that's to play both those roles.
I know, but like Danny's not real. Like I can pull off Danny, but I'm not like meant to be Danny. It's not really like. It's just I was cast as Danny just because I was like probably the strongest singer, and Danny sings everything, and that just made more sense, you know.
Yeah. No, that's
yeah. So good times. So basically, class act musical theater. Then I did all the shows and plays in high school. I went to college, which was like a long 7-year experience. And, you know, I did my first professional show right before I left for college, which was The Light in the Piazza. Yeah, I did it in North Hollywood at the El Portal.
Okay.
Yeah, I was currently doing Bat Boy at my high school, and one of the lead's moms, Jenny, her mom Kelly Lester, who does a lot of theater in Los Angeles.
I think.
She came to see Bat Boy, and she was currently in the cast of The Light in the Piazza. And I guess one of the ensemble / understudy for Fabrizio couldn't do the show anymore. So she recommended me to come audition. So I like went down. I was supposed to be doing like a teen summer musical of like West Side Story. And I was like, I guess I have to like audition for this thing. And I went down and I sang Maria for Blake McIver. He played Fabrizio. And and I got it. And
I mean, of course.
I never went on as Fabrizio. It was mainly just ensemble. I don't even know if I fully understudied him, but it was on my resume for a little bit. That was what I was originally cast as. But you know, it was good. It was good stuff.
It's crazy. Like those high school productions can lead to stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're really always auditioning, and I know they like always say that, but it's true. I mean, I've gotten tons of friends' jobs just by working with them and being like, you have good work ethic and you're talented and I trust you. So, you know, or I like see them do one thing. Like you can see somebody do like a minute of something somewhere and it's enough to be like,
okay, they're good.
Yeah. So it's yeah. But that's kind of how I got into the whole theater world.
Community.
Yeah.
What was the first professional show you saw growing up?
First professional show. The first one I saw on Broadway was Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Which was really good. I mean, I love Chicago. I've seen it a bunch of times on Broadway since, so I always love that one. But Phantom of the Opera was the first professional show I saw where I was like, oh, okay, this is what life is. This is it, you know?
Right.
It's such a ride of a show, and like I know it's very mixed feelings in the musical theater community because there's plot holes and whatever, but I still think it's the best musical.
There's plot holes, but hey, you cannot take your eyes off that stage even if there
No, you can't deny that there's romance and love in the air, and it makes you feel good. It's great.
Yeah, even if you're like 5 or 6, I feel like you'd be like,
yeah, it's mesmerizing. Yeah, it feels like a ride. So
it is mesmerizing. So what schools did you go to for theater? I saw you went to 2.
I went to 4.
4, okay.
Well, I really only went to, well, no, I went to 3 for theater. my college experience was very bizarre. I did like the whole musical theater audition thing when I was 17 and thought, you know, getting your BFA was the only way to stardom, blah, blah, blah. And that's like what you had to do. So I auditioned for the schools and I ended up choosing between Ithaca and UCLA to go for musical theater. And I decided to go to Ithaca. And I went there for 2 years. And it just wasn't for me, honestly. The program was very geared towards, you know, shuttling people into New York, which I really wanted to do Broadway, but I also really started to love film my freshman year of college. And I was like, I live in Los Angeles, like I need to go back. So I decided to leave. And of course, right when I got to Los Angeles, the first thing I did was theater. And so I ended up doing professional theater for like 3 years. And then I got to a point in my life where I needed some structure just back in my life. So I decided to go to community college to get some gen eds at Santa Monica College.
I know people who have gone there and I've heard really good things about it.
Oh, Santa Monica was my favorite of the 3 schools I went to.
I know like multiple people who have gone there and they're like, yeah, I loved it there.
Santa Monica was great. I also went to Moore Park for like a hot second, but it was like one summer and like 2 weeks of a semester.
I was down the street. I went to Cal.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so I went to Santa Monica for 3 semesters, and then I ended up finishing at UC Irvine, and went there for 5 quarters.
So you got a lot of experience throughout your college. Like,
yeah, I got like the conservatory feel, and then I got the like community college, slightly more realistic to life feel.
Yeah.
And then I got the like hybrid of the 2 at UC Irvine. And honestly, I'm happy I finished because it was something that I completed. And
it was good.
But it's not something I honestly recommend for kids. I don't, unless this is the one exception. I think if somebody, when they're like 15, they decide, ooh, I'm good at theater, like a little bit later, and so they're kind of fresh to it, then going to school for theater, musical theater, makes sense. But if you've been doing it since you were like 8 or 10 or 12, you might as well just go out in the real world and see what's going on and see if you like it. Because I love the real world. I don't like school theater. I like to do things my own way, and I like get in trouble with teachers, even though like well, it's not that I get in trouble necessarily. It's just that my like what I excel in isn't your typical musical theater acting. Just like what is taught in school, like actions and objectives and tactics and all of that. Like I can do that, but I'm better not applying it and just doing what I like to do.
You learn from the real world experiences.
Yeah. And I do occasionally use that as like, it's definitely great. And like, you can definitely like sweeten things and make things richer through training. But I don't love it. I like to study voice though. Studying voice is really interesting to me, but studying acting, I just like to do acting.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand that. College versus real world, I had that same experience. Yeah. It's a whole different program that like, it's too much. And then you end up like, you're like, oh, well, I have to transfer to this college and this college and this college. And you end up, as you said, doing like 7 years of school because.
Yeah, it just, But you know what? I met a lot of great people along the way, and I still had a good time. I'm a very social person, so college was half for the social part of it and half for the education.
What was the most valuable thing that you think you learned at any of the schools about anything theater related or singing related?
I think the best thing I learned at Ithaca was on my first day there. So I should have just left after that. They my teacher, my like main acting teacher, Wendy Dan, taught us on the first day about discovery and how at the beginning of a scene, the best thing you can do is to discover what's going on and treat it as if it's like you're almost like on a mission, like search to figure out what's going on and really like discover everything around you and discover what is being said to you and let it just affect you. And honestly, that stuck with me. And anytime I am in a position where I don't understand a scene or I just feel like it doesn't feel grounded, I remind myself to discover, and it feels better.
Yeah. And then it probably helps you play the characters too.
Yeah, it just grounds you in yourself. It fuels the imagination and it fuels want and like yearning, and like it fuels the action of the scene essentially, because to discover is an action. But yeah, that's probably the best thing.
Did you ever, after college, think about going to New York, or were you like, I just want to stay in LA and find theater to do in LA?
Oh yeah, I mean, I've auditioned for stuff in New York from here, and I just like had my final callback for my first like Broadway show, right? Like it was in October, so like I was just like getting to like a point where I was like, oh, this is gonna happen. Like it was for Book of Mormon,
And then COVID.
and I got to the final callbacks for Elder Price Swing. So, and the nice thing with that show is when you're a swing, usually then you get moved up after like 6 months or something. And I did really well. And like before the final callback, they had to ask me, like, they sent me an email saying like, are you interested and would you be available to do like the London cast or like the Australian cast, Melbourne? And I was like, of course.
Heck yeah.
Of course, like cast me in any of them. And you know, I didn't get it, but I'm in their system now, and I think that show's definitely going to make it through the pandemic. So
yeah.
I'm confident that in the next 5 years I'll be in it. So
then you can be like, hey, my favorite city is, just so you know.
I know, I honestly don't know of the three. I think, well, I would want to do New York because I feel like,
yeah, it's New York.
But honestly, I'd want to do New York for like a month and then go to London. Like, just so I can have like the credit. Like,
I mean, I've never been to London, and Weston is on my bucket list. So like,
oh, it's so nice there.
Get it in Weston, and then I'll come to Weston. I'll be like, I have to go to Weston because like Harrison's there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's definitely a really cool place. And I haven't been since I was 13, but I just remember thinking life made more sense over there.
I feel like it probably does.
Yeah. Just something about the culture was,
I
don't know. I can't pinpoint it, but
I mean, nice. Yeah, they have the cool Warner Brothers set over there, so. Yeah,
exactly.
That's a plus.
Yeah.
So how did you find theater to get into in LA? Was it like how long have you known Graham? Because you've done a lot of Graham's shows and
shows. So, of course. The first show I did was the one I explained earlier with Light in the Piazza, and that was just like luck. Yeah. And like that was great. But I didn't do anything professionally till like 3 years later, I think, when I did Spring Awakening.
Oh.
Which I, on a whim, one of my best friends, Veronica Dunn, she had a callback for it, and I guess she was like, you should submit yourself. They're still taking tapes. And I like sent in a video of me singing at church, just like on a whim. I was like, I don't know, like because this was for like the premiere, and like tons of people were auditioning for it. Like I think over 1,000 people auditioned for this. And I sent in a little video, and they wanted me to come in for Melchior, I think. So like got on my Spring Awakening outfit.
Like, what's the Spring Awakening outfit? I just want to know.
It was like this. I actually went in my mom's closet and got this white button up that had like kind of a florally design.
Okay.
It was both feminine and masculine, which is kind of that show in a nutshell.
Pretty much.
And I the audition was at the, what's it called? It's on Hollywood Boulevard, the Blues House. Like the big blues house that's on Sunset. It's that place. It's like
on Sunset.
It's a place on Sunset that is massive.
It will come to us later.
It will come to us later. It's like on the tip of my tongue. So I parked, and as I was walking up, I didn't realize that I had picked a fingernail and it started bleeding, and I got blood all over my shirt. And it was a white shirt. And I was like, well, there goes my audition. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna go in. So I went in. I was really happy. I was like, hi guys, I cut myself. Can I go to the bathroom? And they're like, yeah. And I think by the energy I presented to them, they were like, oh, he's more of an Ernst Hanschen, immediately. So they gave me the sides for Ernst Hanschen. And this was after they had mostly cast it. I was kind of there was nobody else there. So they had to have one of the producers read with me.
Oh.
And his name's Jason. And he's a cute guy. And it's the scene where they make out. Ernst and Hanschen make out. And it was one of those things where I was just feeling very ballsy, so I didn't even ask, but I just kissed him and kissed him. And it was he was a good kisser, and I thought I did well too.
And they're like, okay.
And so when they had me flip characters, they're like, we already know you're a good kisser. You don't have to do that again.
How do you stay serious when that's happening in the room?
I honestly, I just thought it was cool that I got to kiss somebody that day. So I didn't even care. I was like, even if I don't get this, I knew they liked me at that point. I knew the audition was going well. So I was just kind of on cloud nine, because it was this is a good audition. I just had a great kiss.
Right?
I got through this with blood on my shirt. All is well, And then yeah. I got the swing for those 2 roles. So it was great.
Was that was that the first time you had learned what a swing was in a show? I mean, I feel like swings in LA are different than swings in New York,
Yeah. It was. I don't even know if I called it a swing at the time. I don't think I realized till after it that when you understudy 2 roles, it's called a swing.
Yeah.
I think I just told people I was understudying Hans and Urchin, and I was in the ensemble, but that is a swing. I just I was 20 and didn't know the terminology or something.
Well, I feel for LA, the complicated thing is for LA, that is a swing. But for a production in New York, I feel it'd be considered understudy,
I actually don't, is that, you probably know more than me about that. So do you need to do does a swing,
because a
swing's not in the ensemble.
Yeah, a swing doesn't come on unless in New York, unless
so I wasn't a swing.
Is a lead role. So you were basically an understudy, but at places like Rockwell, you're a swing if you're understudying the role, technically.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing. It is, yeah. I didn't know that, so I guess I was right. I was an understudy. I wasn't
Yeah,
a swing.
technically.
Yeah, that's interesting. But it was that was a good thing to swing because the ensemble in Spring Awakening is more of a viewer role because you're like on stage with the audience, and there wasn't a lot of choreography we needed to learn as the ensemble. It was more just rocking out at different songs and a couple movement stuff. But I just had to basically learn those two roles, and I got to watch them do it every single night. So, and I got to go on as Ernst, so that was.
I was gonna ask, how many times did you get to go on? Or
just once.
Just once, but still, hey.
I know, but you know, it was
right?
it was great. It was great. Yeah, it was a blast. I had a buzz cut at the time.
That show, right?
Huh? Yeah, Lindsay was in that. Veronica was in that. Molly was in it.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone was in it. All like the whole LA theater shabam was in that show, and like so many people from that show have had great success.
Right?
Like, I mean, like Janelle, like Liz, like literally like everybody, and the men too, like Ritesh, Matt, like all of them. Yeah, everybody has had great success. And so
work in LA.
Yes. And so I've had consistent work. I haven't had like the tier of like some of the people I've named yet, but it gives me a lot of hope. And it's encouraging. It's cool to just, watch people succeed and live their dreams and everything,
I like that you said yet because it's happening.
I'm such an optimist, and even if it takes another 10 years, I don't think it's going to take that long. But honestly, it's all relative because certain things that I have now are things that I thought were like dreams 3 years ago, like it is what it is. Life is this constant, that's my dream. And yes, I have some like lofty dreams, but even if I just did what I'm doing now for the rest of my life, I would be very happy.
Yeah. I mean, you're in like a good, like you're involved with a good group of people.
Yeah.
So, and I want to talk about, speaking of that group of people, I want to talk about After Hours, but first I got to see you, it might be a little out of order, but I got to see you in Next to Normal.
Oh, you did?
Years ago.
Oh, I remember that. Were you at the...
Yeah, it was after the After Hours show. It was after Tic Tac Boom, I think.
It was after Tic Tac. And right after I Love You Because. Did you see I Love You Because?
Yes, I did. It was after that.
They actually overlapped. And like, I had that was a weird summer. I think I was overworking myself and I lost all this weight. The director of Next to Normal asked me to gain weight, which like I've never, which like I was very skinny. I like had this weird stomach bug thing that like wouldn't go away, and I don't know, but I was a very skinny Gabe. I was not a bulky Gabe. I was a skinny Gabe.
You were stressing yourself out a lot. Probably.
I was struggling a little bit at that time too with some stuff, which we can talk about later too.
I mean,
Next to Normal.
Yeah, Next to Normal. So had that been like on your bucket list to play that role?
Yes, it definitely had been, and I was starting to get nervous that I was aging out of it a little bit. But I actually ended up playing it the same age that Aaron Tveit played it. So,
hey, fun fact.
He was 26, I think, and I was 26, or 25, or whatever. No, I was 20. I was 24. I don't know how it was. It was like we were the same age. It was great.
How old am I now?
I don't know. I'm 29, but like I'm getting confused. I just read an article that in some European country they figured out how to anti-age people by going in this chamber. So like, who knows? We might be acting. I'm just gonna stay this age forever.
That's so confusing.
I know. It's on Yahoo or something. It was a big breakthrough.
A quarantine breakthrough?
I mean, during quarantine, but it was a bunch of scientists. They figured out how to like make people's cells
go
backwards in time.
So you had been like a fan of Next Normal before.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I actually I had while I was at Ithaca, I had done the Tony performance basically. So I already knew that like 6 or 7 minute segment of the
Yeah.
show, which I mean that's like the best part of the show.
Yes.
So I knew that, and I had done I'm Alive a bunch, and um yeah, I think I had auditioned for it once. I think I auditioned for the La Mirada version or one of those versions. Um, but this one came along, and actually, this was another similar situation where actually the Gabe dropped out or like got something else or something, um, and they needed to recast it. So my good friend Michelle Lane, I'd
Oh,
done Mary Poppins with her. She recommended me, so I came in and did my thing, and I got it. And it was, yeah, that was an 8 week run, I think, which that was, I
that was
think, the
pretty long.
longest run. No, one of the, at the time, it was the longest run of a show I've done. So that was really fun.
Well, I'm glad. I didn't know that you were like casting it because like someone dropped out. But what I'm so glad that that happened because
Oh yeah, no, it
I was
worked
like,
out. It worked out great. It really did, and it was a great cast, and it's such a great experience.
yeah, and
It's
you
a
were really good in that role. And
thank
I
you.
hadn't seen it before. I was like, I'm gonna go see it because I've heard a lot of good things. Harrison's in it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, yeah, it's a good show. It's a heavy show, and it is a very hard show to do. Gabe, honestly, if I were to like go in the future or like go back in time, maybe, because I think I could still play Gabe, but like they probably, I got like a I think I can. He's 16, he might be 18. He's also a ghost, so it doesn't really matter.
He's also
Um,
a ghost.
yeah. So, but I actually think Henry is the better role of the two.
Okay.
Gabe vocally is like a thrilling roller coaster of a ride, and some could argue he has the best vocal moments in the show.
Yeah.
But Henry is more of a character role, and I like to do character roles. So like if I were to do it again, I'd probably be Henry.
But I
Or
feel
like fight for Henry.
yeah. I feel like Gabe is so challenging though, because it's like
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know, I might be wrong, but I feel like you're not like it's a stretch for you, right?
It's kind of like it's not necessarily a role that came natural to me because he's kind of like a jockey and
Well, he's different. Like
yeah.
you were truly did like an amazing job acting the role because like it was so believable.
Thank you. Thank you. I had an idea if I did do it again, that role, I kind of wanted to make him goth.
Okay.
And like go a completely different direction with it. And I like kind of had thought about it at the time, but I didn't really push it. And like I liked the way I did it. It fit with the show. But I do think there's like a goth, very like dark, does drugs Gabe
I
that exists. That like is almost like more of a clear pusher onto Diane. Is that her name?
Yeah.
Diana.
Yeah. I think that's how the I'm Alive sounds though. It's kind of gothy.
I mean, it is gothy, and like he is the villain of the show.
Definitely.
And my director had to pull me back because I like wanted to make it more villainy, and I would like do like crazy things with my arms. He's like, that's not what it is.
No.
And I'd be like, okay.
You're like, that's not how a villain is. No.
I was like, I want to make it into a creature. Like,
they're like wrong role.
no, yeah. But, it's metaphorical. It's not literal. But I mean, if I was directing it, if I had all rights, I would have like made him into like a goblin or something. I don't know.
The movie when you direct the movie.
yeah. But Thomas O'Leary is great though. He's a really good guy.
Oh yeah, it was such a good show, and I feel like it sold out a lot of its run.
Yeah, we did good, and yeah, it was a good that was a good summer. That was that was a theatrical summer. That was in between my 2 years at UC Irvine.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were doing school and after hours kind of at the same time too then?
Oh, the whole shebang. I was in school during Tick Tick Boom.
Okay, I feel like I remember that.
I was like commuting. It was crazy. It was a wild ride, but I got used to the drive actually because I was living in Irvine and I just made it work.
Traffic's insane. You learn traffic.
Yeah, you learn. I mean, I honestly do well at learning lines and learning music in the car, and it's kind of like my office.
Okay, hey, it makes sense. And you can
Yeah.
like, and if you're driving, like I always took Ubers, but if you're driving, you can like sing as loud as you want in your own car.
Yes, exactly. And I do all the time.
I love that. See, my mom doesn't like it when I sing in her car, but like I know why. But
you can sing though, can't you?
maybe.
I'm sure you can.
Maybe. But how did you get involved with After Hours and Graham and Becca? Because you've done a lot with After Hours since.
Oh yeah. So Graham and I have known each other since kindergarten. Yep. Yeah. So we literally went to elementary, middle, and high school together. We got, I mean, there were moments where we got closer in each of those, but we were never that close. It wasn't until I came back from Ithaca and Becca, I went to middle high school with Becca and I was already like good friends with like Becca. We were really like, we were best friends. And so when I came back, they were both at UCLA and I would go to UCLA to go to parties. And so that's how I reconnected with Graham and reconnected with Becca because I was always hanging out with her. And oh, this is a funny story. Becca proposed the idea to Graham to do the last 5 years. And she wanted to do it with 2 men.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was me and Nick Brodowski that were going to be Jamie and Kathy. Jamie and Kathy. Yeah. It was gonna be Kenny though. I was gonna be Kenny. And we had our first rehearsal. And they were right in the middle of getting the rights for the show. And La Mirada ended up getting them. Which at first I was kind of annoyed with, but truth be told, we were taking a risk by changing a character. And then we got to do Tick Tick Boom and bring Shelly on board. And that's how they met. I was the one who brought Shelly in. I was like, you should ask this girl, because I met her when she was a swing technically for Bear.
Okay, I was gonna say, because I feel like through the network of people you both knew through Spring Awakening, maybe, yeah?
Yeah, we met doing Bear. Literally, she came in a week before because Katie got the pilot for Faking It.
Yep.
And she literally came in. She came in with her hot tea, and I was like, "This girl means business." I was so impressed. She came in ready to go. I was like, "She is a professional," and I was just so impressed with her, how fast she picked things up and how kind she was. I was like, I need to work with her again because my character didn't get to do much with her, and it was just one weekend. And she kind of has an Amy Spanger vibe. And so anytime I hear the soundtrack, it's kind of that's kind of Shelly. So I just knew that she would be good for it, and she came on board. And
I mean, you were right.
And yeah, it was great. And that's how Elmo came on too, because Elmo was in it when it was just me and Nick, and then yeah, it was all magic. It was magical. And so since then, since Tick Tick Boom, I basically just have not left After Hours.
And it's grown so much.
It's grown so much, and Graham and I have gotten so close, and it's just a great. I have such a good time doing shows with After Hours. It's constantly evolving and constantly changing. I mean, it went from musical theater, black box, to bigger music, a little like higher budgets to then flipped into like immersive theater, immersive musical theater, and then audio pixel playhouse, and now it's like quarantine magic.
Yeah, literally all the virtual stuff is happening with after hours. Like there's stuff in New York happening, but after hours has been most consistent with
I like, not to like tutor our own horn, but like I think we're doing like the most, and I mean I also am not watching a ton of other stuff. I've seen some stuff and it's great, but I think like in terms of like, I don't know if anyone else is doing like multicam theater. Like that's like,
I mean, if they are, they've done like one production and
yeah,
done like how many productions have happened that are virtual?
I've done 4 this year. And
yeah.
and I'm doing, wait, no. 1, 2. No, I'm going to do my 4th. We started with the importance of being earnest. And that we set like that was a play. So we staged that as if, I don't know how to explain this anymore. Like if you were like, if I was talking to you in the scene, if you were here,
yeah,
like I just would turn and talk to you, and they would like put our squares together, and like it was staged. So if I looked this way, it looked like I was looking at that person. It was crazy. It was very complicated to stage. I was lucky because I got to be more of the host of it. So I just did a lot of improv and like teleprompter stuff, and like I just got to kind of do my own thing. But and then we did Clue, which
yes,
Clue took on the actual Zoom platform and like made it what it is. So we took the world on, and we sang live. And that was really fun. That was kind of like the murder mystery musical that really brought the chat in.
People.
Yeah. And then we just did we just did Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Which was like so much fun. So much fun. And like so many people saw it. It did, I mean, we knew it was gonna do well, but it was like financially the most successful after hours show. It was like total smash. Like, yeah.
Because
like,
the great thing about it is like you're bringing theater to people who maybe wouldn't have been able to see it if it had just been like in LA.
Exactly. So I mean, people from Colorado, people New York, Arizona, New Mexico, I think could see it. I don't know if there were any people, but who knows? And Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. Nevada too. Yeah, it was so much fun, and like it was so nice. That was the first time I actually got to perform with people in person, because we would quarantine test weekly, sometimes more than once a week, and all like be very like COVID safe.
Yeah.
Not go out and do that kind of stuff. It was hard. I'm such a social person, so like,
but there's no places to really go out to.
There's no places to go out, but I still do, and like I should probably scale back a little bit. I still go to like eat at restaurants like on patios, but I don't go to like crowded places. I'm pretty weary about not going to places that aren't following the rules. I'm like the person that like will want to sit in the far corner or like go early, so that way like no one's there.
Like early or late. So
early or late, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good, and now we're doing
a Christmas thing.
Yes, we're doing a Christmas thing. This actually might be like the first time it's being talked about. I actually asked them today. I was like, "Am I allowed to talk about stuff?" And they're like, "Yes, please do." So we're doing there. I don't know what the official title is, but it is a Christmas Carol cocktail spectacular. That's what I'm calling it, at least. And basically, so it's basically a Christmas Carol, and it's set in the style of Judy Garland's Christmas special. So it's, imagine this like superstar who has these Christmas specials that's like the diva, and it's basically her going through the Christmas story. She had just finished her big Christmas show, and it's Backstage, and Tiny Tim is her PA. I'm Tiny Tim. And it's her story. It's her story going from like the future, or the past, present, future. And And I think I can say this, like the commercial breaks, because it's like set up like a special, like I think we're going to be doing like special effects in terms of like making it look old and stuff. But the commercial breaks are when you make the cocktails. Like there's going to be like, and now the person making the cocktails, and then it goes to like a commercial with somebody making like, this is how you make this.
Genius.
Isn't that genius? Yeah. It's like I'm so stoked. Like I hope I didn't give that away. I don't think that's a secret.
How do people come up with these things for after hours? Because I assume that there's a moment where like Grandma's like, hey Harrison, can you like help us like brainstorm? Or
oh yes, I definitely pitched some ideas. I think I pitched Gremlins. I really wanted to do, but I do think that would cost too much at the moment. It's something for the future. I think once maybe we like partner with like Warner Brothers or something where we could get a studio behind us, that
it's gonna be like January.
Yeah, no, honestly. Then budget-wise, because we would want to get good puppets, and like the puppets for those things are crazy. I also thought of doing like a Black Christmas murder mystery, but we kind of just did that with Clue, so I think this made the most sense for right now, and it's just like a feel-good thing. We haven't really done a feel-good piece. I mean, Hocus Pocus was feel-good, but it's technically everyone like got their souls sucked at the end that watched it.
But who's saying like during commercial breaks we should have like
like that thing? I don't know who thought of that, but it's brilliant, and they should get a lot of credit. And I hope I'm not spoiling it by saying it on this, so don't tell people, everybody. But yeah, no, that's brilliant. I don't know who thought of it. It could have been the writer Sarah Beale. She's written all these shows, and she's incredible. She literally Clue, the rights, like her show Clue that she devised for quarantine, was purchased by like a high school in oh my god, what country is it? Indonesia? Let me hold on one second. I have to look this up because I don't want to get it wrong.
Is it on the internet?
Sarah Ashley Beale. It's in her story right now. Yeah, definitely not Clue. Yeah. Malaysia. These high schoolers are doing it in Malaysia.
What?
Literally, the show we just like did. And I think the country of Georgia is also doing it.
What?
Which is like really cool. Like I guess she stayed up till like 3 a.m. last night watching the show because of like the time difference. But yeah, it's like this new theatrical, it's really a hybrid of TV and theater in a way. It's still best to call it theater because that is what it is, but it is kind of new media as well. Like on my resume I put new media just because I want people to know that I've been working with cameras, because I have been. So but it's theater still, and yeah, it's cool. It's like hybrid theater.
It's the type of theater we can do under these circumstances.
And I honestly think that there's a big outlet for this kind of thing as well. Just like, oh dear, my computer. There we go. Okay. I think after the quarantine is over, once we get the vaccine, even when theaters open, I do think after hours we'll still continue doing these, because I think there's a market there, and they're so fun to do, and it's like a different form of it. It's a different form of art. It's something new, it's something innovative, and it's immersive because the audience gets to talk to the actors, which is not something you really, I mean, you can do it in immersive theater, but this is like in a musical setting, is really hard to do immersive musical. So like somehow it works.
And theater is so inaccessible to some people. Yeah. I think it just gives it a way for it to be more accessible to people who cannot travel like on a regular, because there's people who can't go to New York, LA.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. And it's also, it brings people in that wouldn't go to theater because they get to make cocktails.
Yep. Yep.
So there's definitely like a different audience too. And it's fun to like watch people. When I was doing Hocus Pocus, I was the cat, and I hosted it and was in the show. So I was in this box. I was in like a box that was like a table, that like one of the witches' tables. And like my hand would go up through this hole to be the cat. But I had an iPad down here with the live stream of everything coming through.
You're like watching everything.
So I was watching everything happen while I was doing it, and there would be like certain moments where I would read people's comments as the cat, like, but I also got to watch the feed throughout the entire show, which can be thrilling and terrifying. It's mostly thrilling because mostly people are very positive, and there's occasionally a few haters, but that's just life, and they usually get shut down really fast. People fight for it, so it's good. But yeah, it's a whole new sensation of, like being in the spotlight, but it's like being in some like weird virtual thing where you're like communicating with the audience, and like you're feeling what they're feeling because they're telling you what they're feeling.
Yep.
It's crazy, and it's fun. I enjoy it, and I hope to do many more of them. But I do also want to get back on stage.
Yes, I was gonna say, speaking of the stage, what do you think makes After Hours like so special when like the stuff is live on stage? Because as I said earlier, it's taken off since TikTok
Yeah.
and everything.
I think After Hours just continues to push the envelope, and I mean, Graham's philosophy is really to build on each previous show, and he doesn't really like to do things just to do it. It's really like, I mean, sometimes he has to like fill stuff, but like it's mostly what he does is say, what did we last do? How can we make it better? And how can we like broaden our reach, essentially? And I don't know if that's exactly what he says, but that's what I feel like his mentality is. And he is constantly like pushing the envelope forward and into this new realm of possibilities, and surrounding himself with people that push the envelope and talented people. I mean, from the beginning, he's just like really hired talented people. Like Becca was fantastic to work with on the first two shows, and like dogfight with the gens, and like, I mean, it's just like he also did actually he did one show before Tick Tick Boom. He did Edges.
Okay, yep. Okay.
That's the one After Hours show I wasn't in. But since then, I even was in the last 5 years when it came back. I was part of it. Yeah, I wasn't in it. But
you were there all the time, basically.
I was there. Like I was serving cocktails and occasionally had a little line in the show with the bartender, or whatever I did. But yeah, it's just fun. It's fun, and like Graham's like family, so it's just easy. It's like a no-brainer. I never like the only like thing that I could see like me ever saying no to Graham is like if I was already locked down in something else that I couldn't get out of.
Yeah, like
I would not like it's always just like a no-brainer. I'm like, of course, let's do this. He also gives me a lot of artistic freedom, and he like will tell the director ahead of time that like Harrison will do what he wants to do. And I listen to directors, but he also lets them know like I'm the kind of actor that likes to try things. Just like, even if it doesn't work, like I can take it out. But I don't know. I just like to push the envelope like After Hours likes to push the envelope, trying things that aren't like necessarily normal.
You like to make rules your own.
Yeah. Which is fun. It's fun to do. I feel most comfortable when it's not the normal. That's why I like outcast characters. They're easier for me. I don't know why.
Well, what role is on your dream role list right now?
My dream role list.
I feel like you've done so many roles that are like iconic roles.
Well, my dream I have like my Broadway dream role, which I just want to do Phantom of the Opera. And honestly, I would be satisfied with Raoul or Phantom. Those aren't necessarily like acting wise characters that I'm like dying to do. But I do think I could do some interesting stuff with the Phantom. I think there's some flexibility there.
I was
With
thinking
the
that earlier.
with and I just like to sing pop classical music. That's kind of where my voice sits best. I don't get to do it a lot, but in Los Angeles, I really want to do Bat Boy. Because I've done it 3 times. I did it in high school, in youth school, and in while I was at Ithaca, I did it with Icing, which was one of our student groups, and it was like a total like hit. And I just need to do it. I need to do Bat Boy. That's my role. That's like my favorite part to play. And it kind of combines everything I'm good at into one thing, which is nice. It's easier for me. So Bat Boy, yeah.
I'm glad you said Phantom because when you were talking about Phantom earlier, I was
Mhm.
like, I could picture him in the show, but I don't know if like that's one of like if that's a role that he had in like his mind.
Yep, it is. And the nice thing too about that part is there's such a flexibility with age. I mean, I could like I wouldn't I mean, I'll take the role if they offered it to me today. But I think I'll be better for it in like 10 years.
Yeah.
And even from then, there's like a 20-year span of you can play the Phantom when you're like 60 or 65 if you want to. There really is no like age limit to that role, which is nice. So it's gonna always be there, which is nice. I don't know, did it close though on Broadway?
On Broadway, I don't think so.
Okay, good, because
I think there might have been rumors, but I doubt it's gonna close.
if it did, somebody would remount it or something.
I'd be
like.
shocked.
Yeah. Did you see the new tour
I saw the tour that came through LA last year.
with like the different direction?
Yes, I think so.
What did you think?
Well, that was my first time seeing it live actually.
Oh, okay, then.
So I had
Well,
nothing to compare it to.
Okay. I think there were some things better and some things not as strong. I mean, the set was incredible. Like,
I couldn't take my eyes off the stage.
no, yeah, what they did with like those stairs that came out of the Turanda when it like would turn. I mean, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was mind blown. My dad was
Yeah.
like, "You have to go see it. It's my favorite show." And I was like, "Okay, I guess I'll go see it." And then I
Yes.
was like, "Okay, I understand why it's your favorite show then."
Yeah. It's that good. It
It's
is.
weird, but it's good.
It is weird. It's very weird.
It's like you're rooting for like it's like kind of one of those shows where you're like, why do I like when like the dark villain type character is on stage?
Yeah. It's because there's a little bit of Phantom in everybody. All of us has a little bit of Phantom in us.
And they had an earthquake during the show last year.
What happened?
They had an earthquake during the show last year.
They did?
And I was like, oh, I wonder if the chandelier is going to drop prematurely during the earthquake.
Oh my God, that would be terrifying. Oh my gosh, that's funny. I've never had an earthquake during a show. I've dropped glass bottles on stage. That was bad. That was not good. I thought I almost, when I did Bye Bye Birdie at Cabrillo like 4 years ago, I played Hugo. And when Kim fainted on me, I fell back and I hit my head on a speaker, like really hard. And they had to check me to make sure I didn't get a
concussion.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It was crazy. I had a little goose egg.
Do you think what else is something funny that's happened on stage? Like, what would you consider the funniest moment that's happened on stage for you?
I had some funny moments actually in Hocus Pocus where there was like a little character break, but it was so ridiculous that I don't think it really mattered because at the end I transformed into Winifred.
Okay.
And I have this quick change into the wig and with the lipstick and the dress and everything. And every night I did it a little differently.
But that's what makes theater theater.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun. I just kind of like went with it. I didn't like necessarily change the character. It was just like her intentions, like how she spoke, and just kind of I did different fluctuations with the energy and stuff, and just like there were moments where I don't even know what happened, but like I would get so into it that I would start not saying the right line. I would start making up my own version of the line. And I'm supposed to like tell my daughter, because it's essentially like a sequel was our show. So I like I'm supposed to tell my daughter that to be quiet, but I said to her like, no one cares. I like really shut her down harder than I ever have, and literally we all just like froze, and like because I'm like this, I'm like frozen, yeah. And like I just had to keep going. We were just frozen in like that first grade laughter where you feel like you're gonna get in so much trouble, but it also is kind of the best feeling at the same time. It's this weird, terrifying. Thankfully, it's such a ridiculous moment of the show that even if people notice that we were breaking, more me. But I mean, we were all breaking at one point, but I think I was the most noticeable. I don't think audience would care. I think they would like it. I would like it because it's all at that point it was almost an SNL skit, that last scene, and so like
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so when people break on SNL, it's just kind of part of it. And yeah, it was fun. I mean, our director had to rein us in and rein me in, which is good because I mean, I didn't. It's not like I wanted that to happen every night. It only happened like 2.5 times.
But look, that kind of stuff happens at Rockwell all the time, and Rockwell is like if you live in LA and know theater, then like Rockwell.
Yeah, so, the breaking is just part of the.
Yeah, it's part, definitely. Yeah. How have you worked on self-confidence in the industry, both like just in theater in general and with obviously improv too in the past couple years? Because I feel like improv is such a hard thing to like be confident in.
Yeah. I think self-confidence, I mean, some of it has just come from a lot of therapy. I have OCD and like I've gone treatments. I'm actually starting a treatment program next week during the day for it, and I'm like really excited about it just because the pandemic kind of reinstilled a lot of stuff, and I got to a really like rough point in the middle of Clue actually where it was bad. My OCD was bad. I like called Ryan O'Connor crying one day just because I was so stuck in this made up world essentially of thinking I was doing the wrong thing. And my OCD manifests as extreme people pleasing. So I always think that I'm doing something wrong and I have to correct it. That's the compulsion. So yeah, I started getting myself back together, and now I'm going to a program that I went to 6 years ago just as like a refresher to get myself back on track. And honestly, learning a lot of like tools from that and tools from self-help books. I read a lot of self-help books, and I recently got into yoga nidra, which I think is helping me with my acting actually. I haven't proven it yet, but like I think it is. Yoga nidra, it's this thing where you lie down. It's like lying down yoga, but it's for your brain and body. And I actually did it before this just to kind of like balance myself.
Oh.
And yeah, just different stuff like that. And honestly, just taking risks and not caring too much and realizing that anything you do can be made into something if you believe it's something. I do a lot of background work in TV and film, and I just love doing it because I don't care that I don't have a line. Like it's so much fun to create a character and to like live in a world.
Yeah.
You know? Like obviously like I'm working towards speaking roles, like that's the goal, but it's so much fun to like create something in a world and live in it. And I don't know. I just run with it and try not to let people get me down. I just try to stay positive, and mostly when you're positive, you won't hear bad things. It's hard to hear bad things when you're nice to people.
You just sometimes hear it in your mind and have to.
You hear it in your mind, and yes, it's hard comparing like different people's level of success and like body types in Los Angeles is very hard to like get by. But you know what? I watched the remake of The Craft last night. They remade it for 2020. It was supposed to get a wide release, but pandemic.
Yeah.
And it was really good. And it had this one reoccurring quote that it's probably a famous quote, or maybe they made it, but it was, "Your difference is your power," which I just was like, oh, that's it. That's it. So leaning into what makes you different is what will make you the happiest and will also bring you success and joy. Because, you know, if it's something different, you're the only one that's capable really of doing it. And everybody on earth is capable of doing something different than everybody else because everyone is slightly different.
Yep.
So I think that's a good motto to live by. I think I might make shirts.
You should make shirts because I love that quote.
Isn't it great?
That might be one of my favorite quotes in any interview.
I know. Your power is your difference. Or your difference is your power.
Well, the thing you said after too, which I mean, I'm gonna make it into one of the quote things.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
So,
yeah.
So, anyways, when theater comes back, how do you think it's going to be different than it's been in the past? Like when live theater comes back?
When live theater comes back, I think it might take a few months to just they're probably unfortunately going to start with like 50% capacity houses.
Yeah.
Once the vaccines start coming through, and maybe they'll only let people that have been vaccinated in. I don't know. But I actually don't. I was actually. I didn't even view it as pessimistic, but I didn't think Broadway was going to open until like next October, if that.
You were
now I'm kind of like, maybe some stuff will open in March. And I honestly don't think that much is necessarily going to change. Yes, like certain protocols maybe, like in terms of like health and hygiene, but I think people are going to be more hungry for theater because they've been trapped up and everybody's been watching TV and film like nonstop, and that's going to continue because that's just like where art has gone to a certain extent. But I do think theater has the potential to have a really great resurgence because people want to get out and do something and like put like in share community, because that's what theater is. So I think producers can if they can figure out a way to like capitalize on that and really like make that part of the marketing and even part of, you know, the storytelling and maybe some more immersive things, and just maybe even some of the ways they set up the audience. You know, I even saw some theater in England where they made this big theater but put trees in the audience. They like took out seats and put trees, and I was like, I kind of love that. Like, it was like, part of me was like, how are they making money? Like, are they, because they took out like half the seats. I'm like, are the tickets twice as much? So I don't know. And maybe they will. I mean, LA theater tickets prices do need to go up, but people just need to start seeing more theater in LA. But yeah, I think it definitely has the potential to grow and to come out with a lot of really great stuff. I kind of hope that there's not too much stuff focused on the pandemic, because they've been doing a lot of that on TV, and
a lot of like love and quarantine stuff.
I don't like. Part of me likes it, and part of me is like, good for embracing it, but then the other part of me is like, I just want to escape. So
Yeah.
I think they've been doing a balance of that pretty well, but I just think this pandemic, everyone's lived through it so much that we're living the movie, we're living the play. Like, we don't need to like apocalyptic movies are so unappealing right now.
Right.
Because that's literally what everybody is living. So I hope there's a lot of like lighter feel good stuff.
Yeah.
Getting at. Yeah.
Maybe in like 20 years they can like do like the like 2020 pandemic plays.
It'll be called 2020.
It'll just be called 2020.
2020 the musical.
Like, okay, we know what that's about.
Yeah. But
I saw something last night that was like, someone was like ranting about, do people think that like once 2021 hits like January 1st that like it's just gonna be like over and perfect?
I think a lot of people were hating on, I think it was 2019. Remember that? Do you remember that? Was it 2019 or 2018? It was one of the years, but I was like, everyone hates this year and they think next year is going to be so good. Like, you have to embrace the now. I mean, granted, yes, it's been a hard year, and like, yes, there's been really hard times. Everyone has had really hard times this year, but it's also like what you make of it and like how you adjust. And there's been a lot of benefits this year as well. I mean, obviously they came out of stuff that wasn't good, but I mean, I've gotten a lot closer with my family. I've gotten to spend a lot of time with my sister. I've got to work on this like new theatrical medium and, you know, work on different things. I have a better workout regimen now because like I do Beachbody on demand, which I highly recommend.
Love that. Like consistent time.
Yeah, it's just I'm learning a lot about myself and everything, and yeah, it's been good. It's been really.
We're never gonna get this break again.
No.
Never.
No, never.
I like take advantage of it, people.
Yeah. It's nice. It's quite nice.
Yes.
I am ready though. I'm ready for it to be over.
I'm ready. I wish it would just end on January 1st, but like.
I mean, vaccines are coming out next month, like 10 days away, 12 days away.
Do you have a countdown?
I should. No, I forgot. I thought it was the 20th. It's the 18th.
I was like, does he have a countdown?
Or it's the 19th. Oh, God.
He's like,
no, I don't.
Vaccines are coming out.
I want one so bad, but other people need to get it first. I'm aiming for March.
Okay, that's a good month.
But I'm hopeful for earlier.
So, do you have anything else that you'd want to, besides the Christmas thing, that you want to promote, or where can people eventually buy tickets?
Yes, for the Christmas show, A Christmas Carol Spectacular. I can actually send you. I think there's going to be a link by the end of the day. I don't know when you're posting this, but afterhourstheater.com, I believe, is After Hours Theater. Yeah, afterhourstheater.com, and theater spelled with RE is where the tickets will be for sale. And they'll also be for sale because when you go to that website, it will then link you to fever.com.
Okay.
Which is like we like co-work with them. They like promote the show and make it all like sparkly and fun in the marketing world. It'll be on fever.com as like under LA. And I think we're just doing Los Angeles, California for this show. I'm not positive. But yeah, so afterhourstheater.com and fever.com.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I'm sure like if people wanted to pay, like it's Los Angeles because they're shipping, right?
Yes, I think that maybe what they'll be doing is they'll be shipping them to places in California, but you can watch the show if you're not in California.
Okay.
So, but not everyone wants to do the cocktail making, and it is like, there's like a premium, I think it's probably like 70 or 80 bucks, 85 bucks maybe even for the alcohol thing. And it's well worth it because you get 6 cocktails. It's a lot. It's like a thing. And it's like this really cool package that comes. I highly recommend it. And it's for 2 people. Like it's essentially 2 tickets for $85, which is a good deal. And you get 3 cocktails each. Like, come on.
And, I mean, I was gonna say just an idea for people who maybe don't live in California is if you know someone in California, like send it to a friend.
Oh, it's like a gift.
Or have it sent to a friend's address and maybe they can mail it to you or as a gift. I don't like.
Oh yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I don't know exactly what they're doing, but so I'm gonna say that you can probably watch it if you're not in California.
Yeah.
You can definitely at least watch it. I'm sure there's gonna be a way. But yeah, I didn't think about that. We should market it for gifting because it's a good gift to give to somebody.
That would be.
Oh my god! I have rehearsal at 4:00, so I'm gonna tell them.
Yes. So, where can people follow you on social media to keep up with what you're doing and more virtual stuff as this quarantine bubble continues?
Of course. At Harrison Meloeny, it's spelled Meloeny. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I don't really tweet a lot, but I look at tweets. And I just started a TikTok, and we'll see about that.
We'll see.
I have 1 video on TikTok, and I'm probably gonna I'm gonna be there eventually. But I'm mostly Instagram right now.
So. I could see you being very good at TikTok. So
I do think I might be good at it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so many things to like. I feel like I need to like pull back from one in order. Maybe if I pull back from Instagram for a while, I can just focus on TikTok. Maybe that's what I'll do.
It is a lot, especially because these updates all come at the same time.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have the iPhone 12?
I don't even know how many iPhones there are now. I think I have the iPhone 10.
Okay. Yeah, because everything is just like this cycle of evolving technology, and who knows, TikTok could get bought tomorrow and it could become ping pong or who knows? I do think TikTok probably will stay for a while though. It sounds like it's pretty solidified.
I think you need to create ping pong.
I think I do too. There's something to ping pong.
Oh my
god. The app. Ping pong the app.
Otherwise someone is gonna hear this and be like,
I know, I need to get on ping pong. It just sounds good, like, oh, I was on ping pong and blah 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 happened.
Yeah. Well,
you know what ping pong might be? This could be kind of cool. Ping pong could be an app about, you don't post about yourself, you post about other people and how like they're nice and how something good they did. And that's the rule, you can't post about yourself on ping pong.
Hey, it's like
hey, there's something there. Don't steal my idea, anybody. We can do it together.
It's like a positivity app.
A positivity app, ping pong.
Like, spread positivity.
You ping it forward and they pong it back. Maybe they say something nice back to you.
Yes, genius. I think you came up with the next big social media hit. I did.
Well, I'm gonna call Facebook.
Wow, thank you so much for coming on and talking to me on this.
Thank you. This was such a lovely afternoon.
Thanks for watching this episode of Backstage with Becca B. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV. Or for more exclusive content from this interview and more, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Backstage with Becca B. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, go ahead and give me a 5-star rating. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!